Hi everyone, Anthony Morganti here. In a couple of days on April 9, 2026, Skylum Software will be releasing an upgrade to Luminar Neo. They'll also be releasing an upgrade to the iPad and Android versions of Luminar. The folks over at Skylum Software were kind enough to give me an advance copy of the Luminar Neo upgrade. In today's video, I'm going to go over some of the new features found in it. In a future video, I'm going to talk about the iPad and Android versions of Luminar and how you could use those in conjunction with the desktop version of Neo. Now, as I mentioned, the folks over at Skylum Software were kind enough to give me this advanced copy. It is a beta version. I expect everything I show you to work faster and to work better when it is actually released. Now, the first new feature I want to talk about is Bokeh AI. Those of you that have been using Luminar Neo know that Bokeh AI has been in Neo for a while, but in the past, it only worked on portraits, meaning you had to have a person in the scene. Now it works on subjects, so that subject doesn't necessarily have to be a person. For example, I have this image of the sculpture and I'd like to blur the background. Now, Bokeh AI is still found in the portrait section, but as I mentioned, it now works on subjects. And you can see as soon as I opened it, it found the subject. You can see right here, the lighter part is the part that's going to stay in focus. Then when I take the blur slider to the right, you'll notice that it's blurring out the background. So it works now on non-persons. Now you may be saying, well, that sculpture is a portrait, or it's a sculpture of a head. Well, let me show you. I'll go to this one that doesn't have a human in it at all. This is a stock image. As a matter of fact, it's obviously AI, but it doesn't have a person in it. And if I again go to Bokeh AI, you'll notice that it took a second, but it found the subject and it created this depth map. Wherever it's light will not be blurred, and wherever it's dark will be blurred. So if I take this blur slider to the right, you can see that it's increasing the blur behind the cat, and it's keeping the cat and the area that is in the same plane as the cat in focus. So it's doing a really good job. Now, nothing else has changed. You could go down here to this bokeh ball adjustment, and this will affect most often like pointed light sources. So in a night image, if you have a pointed light source in the background like these lights, you could change the way it would look. For example, if I go to the star, you could see it created stars. If I go to the heart, it's heart. If I go to the hexagon, it's hexagon. You do a football shape, a solid circle, or a hollowed out circle. You can see what it's doing over in here. So with that, you could change that as well. But that hasn't changed. That has always been in Bokeh AI. The change, though, as I mentioned, is it will now work on non-human subjects. So I think that is awesome. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is a feature that has been in Neo, but it's greatly improved. I mean, it really works well. It's dark circles removal. For example, I have this stock image of the model, and you can see she has dark circles under her eyes. Dark circles removal is found in the Face AI tool. And if I roll that open, you'll notice that in the eyes section, there's this dark circles removal slider. Well, it works much, much better. If you've ever used a tool like this in other applications, you may have noticed when you moved it to the right, it did remove the dark circles, but it affected the pores of the skin, and sometimes it even would make it look white under their eye. This now looks very, very realistic. It's like greatly improved, and I think it looks and works great. So that has been improved. The other thing is they've really enhanced Skin AI. So if I close down Face AI and I go to Skin AI, you'll notice there's 4 sliders. In the past, there were only 2. There was an amount slider and a shine slider or shine removal slider. Now, you'll notice there's face smoothing and body smoothing. So I could smooth the skin on her face independently of the skin on her body. So if I move this to the right, you can see how it's affecting her face, but it's not affecting her body. And if I move this to the right, you can see how it's affecting her body, but not affecting her face. Now I'm just going to keep those very high, like higher than I normally would. The shine removal slider has been in this tool, but it has been improved in this version of Neo. So if I take this to the right, you can see how it's removing the shine on her face. And from what I understand, the blemish removal tool has been improved as well. So if we move that to the right, you can see how it's eliminating blemishes. And if I give you a before after, there's before and there's after, and there's before and there's after. So there's some really tremendous improvements to the Skin AI tool, and in a future video I will do a number of different portraits, and I'll show you how I go about editing portraits using Luminar Neo, and specifically the Skin AI tool and that new dark circles removal tool that's in the Face AI tool. Now, this next new feature is something that I was hoping they would add to Neo, and they finally did. That is, you now could feather a mask, any mask. So if you apply a mask in Luminar Neo and you find that you're getting haloing, or the mask is a little like rough around the edge, you now could feather it. Now for this example, let's go here. This is an image. I did some editing on it, and let's just say that I want to do something with detail with the building. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the details tool, and I'll roll that open, and we're going to do masking because I don't want to apply it to the entire image. I only want to apply it to the building. So we'll go to masking, and I'm going to go to Mask AI and let it find architecture. So we'll click there, and it takes a second, but you see you have that red overlay now, and it's found the building, but it also found these tables here. So I need to modify this mask. So I'll quickly modify it. Now this isn't new. You always could do this. We're going to modify it with a brush, and we're going to erase the mask from in here. So as I paint, oops, I'm painting it in. I want to erase it. So as you click, you'll see the mask appears. So I could remove it from here, and I move it from here, and I could even remove it from up in here, let's say. All right. So I modified the mask. So that isn't new. So now let's go to the adjustments. So we're going to go to the adjustments, and let's just way overdo it. Okay. So we're just going to take all these sliders for details all the way up. Now with them all the way up, I'm going to zoom in by hitting Command plus on my Mac a few times. It's Control plus on a PC. And if I go over here, you'll notice we have this really bad halo right here. Right? Well, now I could get rid of that halo using the mask feathering that has been added to this version of Neo. So we'll go back to masking. Right? We're going to go over here. We're going to go to Mask Actions, and you'll see feathering is here. Now, if you look right here at this halo that I have going on here, if I take this to the right, you can see it's eliminating that haloing. It's also affecting the grass down here, which the mask was kind of like making it too hard of an edge. Now, when it's feathered, it looks a lot better. Now, to zoom back out, hit Command or Control 0. And you could fit it to screen. So that's a great new feature in my opinion, so that you could better manipulate the mask. You also could shift the edge of the mask if you need to with this slider. Now, obviously, I wouldn't add this much detail to the structure. So let's go back over here and let's just reset this and reset this and reset this. I usually like to work these sliders from the bottom up. So I'll move this one, and then this one. So now it's nice, no feathering or no haloing at all. It's, I think, a great new feature found in this spring upgrade of Luminar Neo. Now, as I mentioned in a future video, I'm going to talk about more specifically on the iPad and Android versions of Luminar and how you could use those in conjunction with the desktop version of Neo so that you could do edits on one and then continue the edits on another and so on. It's really a great kind of ecosystem of Neo and Luminar where everything works together flawlessly, and we'll talk about that in a future video. And I think before that, I'll even do the video where I'll do a number of different portraits and I'll demonstrate how I edit portraits using Luminar Neo. Thank you, everyone who watches my videos. I really do appreciate it. Talk to you guys soon.